Have you ever wondered why some people seem to move through life with quiet confidence, while others struggle to find direction day after day? The truth is, it often has little to do with luck, and everything to do with the small things we choose to repeat. Change rarely arrives in a single, dramatic moment. Instead, it comes quietly, in the habits we practice every single day. These habits shape our character, influence our mindset, and ultimately determine the quality of our lives. The philosopher Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And though those words were spoken thousands of years ago, they remain just as true today. So let's walk together through the first steps on this path of self-improvement. Imagine each habit as a stone laid on the road you walk every day. Step by step, they build the direction of your journey. The beauty is that none of these habits are impossible or reserved for the few. They are choices you can make today, and repeat tomorrow, until they become second nature. The first habit is beginning your day with clarity. Too many of us wake up and immediately surrender our attention to the noise of the world, the glowing screen, the endless notifications, the rush of obligations. When your first moments belong to chaos, your whole day follows that rhythm. Instead, begin with silence. Take a few minutes before anything else to breathe, reflect, or write down what matters most for the day ahead. This is not just about productivity. It is about control. It is about saying, before the world decides what today means, I will decide for myself. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, began his mornings by writing in his journal, reminding himself of the kind of man he wanted to be. You don't need to be a philosopher king to do the same. Just a notebook and a quiet space can transform your mornings into an act of alignment. The second habit is daily movement. Your body is not separate from your mind. They are companions. When the body is sluggish, the mind becomes clouded. When the body is alive, the mind sharpens. You don't need hours at the gym or extreme routines. A simple walk, stretching, or a short workout can shift your entire state of being. Think of movement as telling your body, I care for you. I will not neglect you. Over time, this small daily choice fuels energy, focus, and resilience. Seneca once wrote that we treat our possessions with more care than we treat ourselves. We repair our homes and polish our tools, yet we allow our bodies to deteriorate. Daily movement is a way of reclaiming that responsibility. The third habit is feeding your mind with wisdom. Just as your body needs nourishment, so does your mind. Every day, read something that stretches your understanding. It could be a page of philosophy, a book on growth, or even a short reflection that challenges your perspective. The key is to step beyond the shallow noise of social media and give your mind something substantial to chew on. Imagine your thoughts as soil. If you feed them with shallow entertainment alone, the soil becomes thin and barren. But if you enrich it daily with wisdom, you create fertile ground where strength, clarity, and vision can grow. A few minutes of intentional reading each day can completely transform the way you see the world over the years. The fourth habit is intentional solitude. In a world addicted to distraction, silence is a form of power. We are surrounded by constant noise, voices, opinions, endless chatter. But growth requires space to think, to listen inward, and to truly understand yourself. Each day, carve out a pocket of silence, even if it's just 10 minutes. Put away the screens, step away from the crowd, and simply sit with yourself. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. The silence might reveal thoughts you've been avoiding. But that discomfort is where growth begins. The philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Learn to master solitude, and you'll find clarity and strength that noise could never give. The fifth habit is acts of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite word we say. It is a lens through which we see the world. When you train yourself to notice what you already have, you shift your focus from scarcity to abundance. Each day, name at least 3 things you are grateful for. Write them down, speak them aloud, or simply hold them in your heart. Gratitude does not erase pain or struggle, but it gives balance. It reminds you that alongside the weight you carry, there are gifts you may have overlooked. The Stoics believed that every day offered reasons for thankfulness, even the challenges, because they were chances to practice resilience. Gratitude transforms ordinary days into treasures, and hardships into teachers. The sixth habit is deliberate reflection on your actions. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I do well? What could I have done better? What lesson will I carry into tomorrow? This practice is like holding up a mirror to your life, not with judgment, but with honesty. Improvement begins with awareness. Without reflection, days blur into each other, and mistakes repeat without correction. With reflection, each day becomes a stepping stone upward. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca both reflected daily, not to shame themselves, but to guide themselves. Reflection is a gentle conversation with your own soul, a reminder that you are both the student and the teacher of your life. The seventh habit is acts of kindness, no matter how small. Improvement is not just about personal growth. It's about how your growth touches others. Every day, look for one way to serve, to uplift, to give. It doesn't need to be grand. A kind word, a patient response, an encouraging message, these small acts ripple outward in ways you may never see. True strength is not measured by how high you rise alone, but by how much you lift as you climb. The Stoics believed we are all citizens of one world, connected and responsible for each other. Daily kindness transforms self-improvement from a selfish pursuit into a path of shared humanity. The eighth habit is protecting your focus. Every day, distractions battle for your attention. Social media, endless notifications, shallow conversations, they scatter your mind until you feel drained without having done anything meaningful. Protect your focus as you would protect your most valuable possession. Set clear boundaries. Turn off what does not serve you. Decide what matters most each day, and give it your full presence. Attention is the currency of your life. Spend it wisely. When you master focus, you master time itself. The ninth habit is embracing discomfort intentionally. Growth does not come from ease, but from challenge. Each day, step into something that stretches you. It could be as small as taking a cold shower, tackling a difficult task, or confronting a fear you've avoided. The goal is not suffering for its own sake, but training your mind to endure, to adapt, and to thrive in the face of difficulty. Seneca advised his students to practice discomfort so that when hardship truly arrived, they would not be unprepared. Daily discomfort builds an inner armor, not to shield you from life, but to prepare you to meet it with courage. And the 10th habit is ending your day with purpose. Just as your mornings shape the start of your journey, your evenings shape the close. Before you sleep, let your final thoughts be intentional. Review your day, release what you cannot control, and remind yourself of what truly matters. End with gratitude, reflection, or a simple affirmation that tomorrow, you will rise again and continue the path. This turns sleep from an escape into a renewal, a bridge that carries today's lessons into tomorrow's opportunities. These 10 habits are not magic spells. They will not transform your life overnight. But repeated daily, they slowly carve a new version of yourself. Each habit is a seed. Plant them with consistency, water them with patience, and in time, you will harvest a life of strength, clarity, and purpose. Change always begins with awareness, but awareness alone is not enough. To turn intention into transformation, you must return to the habits again and again until they shape who you are. The power of repetition cannot be overstated. What you do occasionally may influence your mood, but what you do daily rewires your identity. Imagine a river flowing gently against a rock. One drop of water may do nothing, but over years, the drops carve valleys, reshape landscapes, and form canyons. Your habits are the same, small, steady, persistent. But here is the challenge: the world constantly tempts you away from discipline. It whispers that comfort is better than effort, that tomorrow is soon enough, that entertainment is easier than growth. And in those moments, it is not enough to simply know what habits are good for you, you must remember why they matter. You must remind yourself of the life you are building, the future self you are shaping. Think of the first habit again, beginning your day with clarity. The truth is, your mornings are a battle for ownership. If you allow others to dictate your first thoughts through messages, news, or social media, you surrender your power. But when you claim that space, even for a few quiet minutes, you remind yourself that your life is your own. Consider a man who wakes every day and scrolls endlessly, drowning in distraction before he has even stood from his bed. Compare him to one who takes those same minutes to breathe deeply, set his intentions, and write down his priorities. Their days may look similar on the surface, but over months and years, their paths diverge dramatically. One becomes a passenger in his own life, the other, a driver. Daily movement follows the same truth. The body you inhabit is not temporary clothing you can discard without consequence. It is your vessel, your tool, your home. Neglecting it means limiting the quality of every experience you will ever have. Imagine two futures, one where you have the strength to walk freely, to breathe deeply, to play with your children or travel without hesitation. And another where every step is heavy, every effort exhausting, every opportunity shadowed by preventable weakness. That difference does not emerge suddenly, it is built, slowly, by the presence or absence of daily movement. When you choose to move, you are not simply exercising. You are protecting your future self. Feeding your mind with wisdom is another cornerstone. We live in an age of overwhelming information, yet most of it is shallow, fleeting, designed to entertain rather than enlighten. When you take even 15 minutes a day to read something meaningful, you are choosing depth over noise. Imagine if, every day for 1 year, you read even a single page of philosophy, psychology, or timeless literature. That's 365 seeds of wisdom planted in the soil of your mind. At first, they may seem small. But over time, they grow into a forest of perspective, resilience, and understanding. Meanwhile, those who feed only on distractions remain like barren soil, crowded with weeds, incapable of sustaining growth. The difference is not intelligence, it is nutrition. Intentional solitude is perhaps the most overlooked habit in our age. To be alone is often mistaken for loneliness. But solitude is not emptiness, it is fullness, an opportunity to hear the voice of your own thoughts without interruption. Imagine sitting quietly at the end of the day, no phone, no screens, no noise. At first, the silence may feel unbearable. Thoughts may race. Regrets may surface. But if you endure the stillness, something powerful happens. You begin to understand yourself, to separate the true from the trivial, the lasting from the temporary. Without solitude, you risk living a borrowed life, shaped by the constant noise of others. With solitude, you discover your own rhythm. The world will always try to occupy your attention. Solitude is the act of reclaiming it. And then there is gratitude. To practice gratitude daily is to reshape the lens through which you see life. Many people imagine that happiness leads to gratitude, but in reality, gratitude leads to happiness. Consider this: two people may walk through the same day, face the same challenges, experience the same events. One focuses on what is missing, what is unfair, what is frustrating. The other notices small blessings, a kind word, a moment of laughter, the warmth of sunlight through a window. Though their circumstances are identical, their experience of life is worlds apart. Gratitude is not about denying pain or pretending everything is perfect. It is about refusing to let scarcity dominate your vision. Each day you count your blessings, you remind yourself that abundance already surrounds you. Reflection at the end of each day is another habit that compounds with time. Imagine ending your day not in mindless distraction, but in quiet review. You ask, where did I act in alignment with my values? Where did I fall short? What lesson will I carry forward? This practice transforms mistakes into teachers and successes into foundations. Over weeks, you begin to notice patterns, the triggers that cause anger, the environments that inspire focus, the people who uplift or drain you. With awareness comes choice, and with choice comes freedom. Reflection is not about perfection. It is about progress, about ensuring that no day passes without leaving a trace of growth. Acts of kindness anchor your growth in humanity. Self-improvement can sometimes risk becoming self-absorption. But when you deliberately extend kindness to others, you balance your journey. You remind yourself that growth is not only about personal achievement, but about contribution. Imagine a world where every person practiced one deliberate act of kindness a day. A compliment, a helping hand, a moment of patience. The world would be transformed, not by policies or grand speeches, but by millions of quiet choices. Your daily kindness may seem small, but it ripples outward in ways you cannot measure. And here's the truth: kindness enriches not just the receiver, but the giver. Every act softens your heart, strengthens your empathy, and deepens your connection to the human story. Protecting your focus is an act of resistance in our distracted age. Every day, countless forces battle for your attention: algorithms, advertisements, endless streams of shallow content. To give in blindly is to live reactively, pulled in every direction but your own. But when you protect your focus, you choose intentionality. You decide what matters, and you direct your energy accordingly. Imagine the difference between a scattered mind, pulled by dozens of trivialities, and a focused mind, fully present on a single meaningful task. The first feels restless and unfulfilled, the second feels purposeful and alive. Focus is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters. Protect it fiercely, because it is the essence of your life. Embracing discomfort intentionally is a habit that strengthens both body and mind. Too often, we seek only comfort, avoiding anything that feels unpleasant. But a life of constant ease breeds weakness. True growth emerges when you step willingly into challenge. Consider the cold shower, the difficult conversation, the task you've been delaying. Each time you face discomfort, you train your mind to endure, to persist, to adapt. And then, when real challenges arise, you are ready. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, eating simple meals, sleeping on the floor, not to punish themselves, but to prepare. They understood that comfort makes us fragile, while discomfort makes us strong. Each day, choose a little discomfort, and you will find yourself capable of much more than you imagined. Finally, ending your day with purpose closes the loop. Just as mornings shape beginnings, evenings shape endings. Instead of collapsing into distraction or scrolling into exhaustion, take control of your night. Review, release, and reset. Remind yourself that whatever happened today, tomorrow offers new choices. End with gratitude, reflection, or prayer. Let your final thoughts guide you gently into rest. This is not just about better sleep, it is about living deliberately, ensuring that no part of your day is wasted. Together, these habits form more than a routine. They form an identity. They are not tasks to check off, but expressions of who you are becoming. Practice daily, they weave into the fabric of your life until they are inseparable from you. And the beauty is, no one can take them from you. They require no wealth, no privilege, no external permission. They are gifts you give yourself, one day at a time. Every habit begins as a choice, but with time, it becomes a character. What feels unnatural at first eventually feels like second nature, and what once demanded discipline becomes almost automatic. This is the hidden strength of daily practice. It doesn't just improve your life temporarily, it reshapes who you are permanently. And the key is not perfection, but persistence. There will be days when you miss a habit, when you fall short, when life interrupts your rhythm. The true measure of growth is not whether you never fail, but whether you return after failing. Imagine a musician practicing daily. If he misses one day, nothing changes. If he misses two, he notices. If he misses three, the world notices. So it is with habits. Missing a day is not the end. Quitting altogether is. Forgive yourself quickly, and return without delay. Progress is a long road, and no single stumble defines the journey. Think again of beginning your day with clarity. This habit is not just about mornings, it's about identity. You are saying to yourself, I am someone who lives with intention. I am someone who decides what matters before the world decides for me. When you rise each day with clarity, you plant a flag in the ground that marks the territory of your own mind. The world is noisy. The world is chaotic. But within yourself, you carry a quiet center, a compass that guides you through storms. This is what morning clarity provides, not just productivity, but peace. Daily movement carries the same truth. It is not about sculpting a perfect body or chasing vanity. It is about honoring the vessel that carries your soul. Each time you move, you remind yourself, I value this life. I will not waste it in neglect. Movement is gratitude in motion. And when you practice it daily, you discover that it changes more than your body, it changes your spirit. Energy rises, focus sharpens, and confidence quietly builds. Even on the hardest days, a short walk or stretch tells your body, I am still here, I am still strong, I am still moving forward. Feeding your mind with wisdom is another act of identity. In choosing what you read, you choose who you become. Every book, every page, every idea is a voice that joins the chorus in your mind. Some voices weaken you with cynicism and shallow distraction. Others strengthen you with insight and vision. To read daily is to curate your own council of mentors, philosophers, and thinkers across time. Imagine sitting each day with Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, or modern teachers of resilience and growth. Their words become companions, shaping the way you think, act, and respond to life. Without wisdom, life feels confusing. With wisdom, life feels purposeful. Intentional solitude deepens this wisdom. Solitude is the soil where thoughts take root, where insights settle, where clarity emerges. Without it, even wisdom slips through your fingers, forgotten in the noise. But with solitude, you absorb it, you wrestle with it, you make it your own. In solitude, you discover what truly matters to you, not to the crowd, not to the world, but to you. And this discovery is priceless. It is in solitude that many of history's greatest ideas were born, that courage was forged, that inner strength was cultivated. To fear solitude is to fear yourself. To embrace solitude is to discover yourself. Gratitude, too, is more than a habit. It is a way of seeing. Gratitude rewrites the story you tell yourself about your life. Without gratitude, you look at your days and see only scarcity, what is missing, what is unfair, what is lacking. With gratitude, you see abundance, the gifts hidden in plain sight, the beauty scattered in ordinary moments. This perspective changes everything. Imagine two people facing the same hardship. One says, "Why me?" The other says, "What can this teach me?" Gratitude does not erase the pain, but it gives the pain meaning. And with meaning, we endure anything. Reflection sharpens that meaning. When you pause each day to examine your actions, you are not simply reviewing events, you are shaping your future. You are choosing to learn rather than repeat. Reflection is how mistakes become lessons, how victories become foundations, and how ordinary days become stepping stones to growth. The Stoics reflected constantly, not to dwell, but to rise. They knew that without self-examination, life drifts aimlessly. With it, life gains direction. Reflection transforms time from something you pass into something you use. Acts of kindness ground all of this in humanity. Self-improvement without kindness risks becoming arrogance. But kindness ensures that your growth enriches others as well as yourself. Every act, no matter how small, contributes to a greater whole. A smile, a word of encouragement, a hand extended in generosity, these ripple through lives in ways unseen. And here lies a paradox: the more you give, the more you receive. Kindness enlarges your heart, deepens your empathy, and reminds you that the purpose of growth is not just to rise above, but to lift others with you. Protecting your focus, meanwhile, is an act of self-respect. Every distraction you allow steals a fragment of your life you will never recover. Attention is your most precious currency, and every day you must decide how to spend it. When you give it away carelessly, you end the day exhausted and empty, with nothing meaningful accomplished. But when you direct it deliberately, you end the day fulfilled, knowing you gave yourself fully to what mattered most. Protecting your focus is not selfish, it is wise. For only with focus can you give your best self to the world. And embracing discomfort is how you expand that best self. Comfort is seductive, but it is also limiting. Growth happens when you lean into resistance, when you step willingly into challenge. Think of a muscle, it only grows when strained. So does character. Each day, discomfort offers you a choice, to step back into ease, or to step forward into growth. When you choose growth, even in small ways, you strengthen your resilience. And when life inevitably tests you with real hardship, you will be prepared. You will not crumble at the first sign of difficulty, because you have trained for it daily. Ending your day with purpose ties it all together. It is the final word in the story of your day, the punctuation mark at the end of your sentence. To end in distraction is to let the day dissolve into nothingness. To end in purpose is to preserve it, to carry its lessons into tomorrow. Each night you review, release, and reset, you ensure that your days are not wasted, but woven into the larger tapestry of your life. And with each night of purpose, you prepare for each morning of clarity. Together, these habits are not isolated actions, but a cycle. Morning clarity begins the day with intention. Movement enlivens the body. Wisdom nourishes the mind. Solitude strengthens the spirit. Gratitude shifts perspective. Reflection sharpens awareness. Kindness connects you to others. Focus protects your energy. Discomfort builds resilience. And purpose closes the day with meaning. Then the cycle begins again. Day after day, choice after choice, the habits shape you. And in shaping you, they shape your life. You may not see the change immediately. Habits are quiet architects. But trust the process. A year from now, you will look back and realize you are not the same person. You will be stronger, wiser, more resilient, more grounded. Not because of one grand transformation, but because of thousands of small, daily choices. The path of self-improvement is not a sprint, nor is it a race against others. It is a lifelong journey of alignment, aligning who you are with who you are capable of becoming. These 10 habits are not just tools to get more done or to appear more disciplined, they are the foundation of a life lived deliberately, a life where each day carries meaning. And the deeper truth is this: what you repeatedly do, you become. Each habit is not only an action but also a declaration of identity. When you choose to begin your day with clarity, you are declaring, "I am not a slave to chaos. I am a person who decides what matters before the noise of the world decides for me." This small act, repeated daily, shapes you into someone steady, centered, and intentional. When you move your body each day, you are declaring, "I respect the vessel that carries me. I will not neglect myself." You become someone who walks with energy, someone who meets the demands of life not with fatigue but with strength. When you feed your mind with wisdom, you are declaring, "I am a student of life. I will not settle for shallow distractions." You become someone guided by perspective, someone who carries within them a library of strength drawn from the greatest thinkers who ever lived. When you embrace solitude, you are declaring, "I can face myself. I am not afraid of silence." You become someone who draws power from within, not from the constant noise of others. Solitude becomes your sanctuary, your place of renewal. When you practice gratitude, you are declaring, "My life is abundant. I choose to see blessings, even in hardship." You become someone who radiates contentment, someone who sees light even in the darkest hours. Gratitude changes not only how you experience life, but also how others experience you. When you reflect daily, you are declaring, "I will learn from today. I will not let my days slip by unnoticed." You become someone who grows continuously, who refuses to repeat the same mistakes blindly. Reflection turns every day, good or bad, into a stepping stone. When you practice kindness, you are declaring, "My growth is not for me alone. I exist to uplift as I rise." You become someone remembered not for what you achieved, but for how you touched the lives around you. And in that giving, you find a deeper fulfillment than self-absorption could ever bring. When you protect your focus, you are declaring, "My attention is my life. I choose where to spend it." You become someone intentional, someone whose work carries weight, whose presence carries depth. In a world of scattered minds, you become a rare example of clarity. When you embrace discomfort, you are declaring, "I am not fragile. I welcome challenge, because challenge shapes me." You become someone resilient, someone who stands firm when storms arrive, someone unshaken by the inevitable hardships of life. And when you end your day with purpose, you are declaring, "My life is not random. I live with intention from the first moment of dawn to the final moment of night." You become someone whose days accumulate into a life of meaning, someone whose story is not wasted. Together, these daily choices sculpt you into someone who lives deliberately. And the beauty is, you do not need to master them all at once. Begin with one. Practice it until it becomes part of you. Then add another. Over time, you will find that they weave together naturally, each supporting the other, until they form a rhythm that carries you forward. It may feel slow at first. You may question whether such small actions can truly change your life. But think of a tree. It does not grow in dramatic bursts, but quietly, steadily, year after year, until its roots are deep and its branches reach high into the sky. The same is true of you. These habits are your roots. They anchor you, they nourish you, and they give you the strength to reach for more than you thought possible. There will be days when you stumble, days when the habits feel heavy, days when you wonder if it is worth it. In those moments, remember this: every step forward, no matter how small, matters. Self-improvement is not about never falling, it is about always rising again. Even a single act of clarity, a single moment of gratitude, a single kind gesture, these shape your character. They remind you of the path you are on, even when the journey feels difficult. And as months pass, as years unfold, you will begin to notice the transformation. You will notice that you carry yourself differently, that challenges do not break you as easily, that joy comes not only from grand events but from ordinary days lived well. You will notice that others begin to look to you, not because you claim perfection, but because your consistency speaks louder than words. And perhaps most importantly, you will notice that you are proud of who you are becoming. Because in the end, the greatest gift of these habits is not simply a better life. It is a better self. A self that is calm in chaos, strong in struggle, wise in decisions, and kind in actions. A self that lives deliberately, not by accident. A self that looks back without regret, and forward with courage. So take these habits with you. Begin tomorrow with clarity. Move your body. Feed your mind. Seek solitude. Practice gratitude. Reflect honestly. Show kindness. Guard your focus. Embrace discomfort. End your day with purpose. Repeat them, not as chores, but as choices. Repeat them until they become part of you. And one day, without even noticing, you will wake up and realize, you are no longer the person you were. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are more alive. Not because of one grand moment, but because of 10 small habits practiced daily. This is the path of transformation. This is the path of a life lived fully. If this video has made you think differently about your own journey, subscribe to The Thinking Path for more timeless wisdom each week. Share your thoughts in the comments. What daily habit has transformed your life the most? I'll pin the most insightful response for our community to reflect on. And if you'd like to keep going deeper, click on the video that appears here on screen. It's the next step on your path. Until then, keep walking forward with purpose.